Christopher DeSantiago with Sports Illustrated's MMA Knockout. Here today, joined by the former women's bantamweight champion of the world, Raquel Pennington. Rocky, how's it going today?
It's going pretty good. Just enjoying my day. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for asking and thanks for taking the time as always. We're about like more than a week removed from the title loss. How have you been spending your time since the action went down in Salt Lake City?
I've just been decompressing, enjoying some downtime. Fight camp is it adds up and it becomes a lot. So, I mean, even though it was 8 weeks, it was a long 8 weeks. Being a mom and stuff, just having to navigate with the baby. So definitely been enjoying some mama time. I live in Colorado and the fall is my favorite. The colors are changing, so I've been spending a lot of time in the mountains. And other than that, yeah, just been decompressing and relaxing. I rewatched the fight, reflected a little bit, and the emotional part's different. But at the end of the day, like my heart hurts, but my head is high.
Do you still feel like a champion? And, with losing the belt, do you feel like a weight lifted off your shoulders with all of that pressure?
No, I've been in the sport for 14 years. I've gone to judges' decisions a lot. And honestly, with this fight, this is one fight that I felt completely confident going into the judge's decision. Um, it's a weird loss to say the least. And so it's something different. But I mean, no, I at the end of the day, I still feel like a champion. I spoke with UFC and stuff, had really great conversations. Just the feedback that I've been getting from multiple different athletes. It's just a weird situation. I mean, the entire media outlet had it completely scored for me. The big names as far as like Joe Rogan, Dana, Hunter, DC, John Anik, all of them, just in that moment when everything happened, the looks that they gave and the head shakes that they were like, no way. So it's been really weird on this one.
Hmm. How many times have you rewatched the fight? And like upon rewatching it, I feel like it really all comes down to round one, where she had the more strikes, but I feel like you landed the more significant strikes, popping her head back and forth.
Exactly. I've watched it multiple times and I couldn't agree more with you. But the thing is like in MMA, I feel like they need to get the judging down. I feel like this happens too often with multiple athletes, and everybody's gonna have their opinions and they're gonna say things, and it's like, oh, don't let it go to the judges' decisions, this, that, or another. And it's easy to critique things when you're not inside doing the work. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think all of us as athletes, we get confused from time to time because it's like, what are you really looking for? And I feel like there's just a very huge inconsistency when it comes to the judging, which really sucks because when it comes down to that and it takes one person to all of a sudden give away something, like it takes away from us. It takes so much away from us. And it's a really interesting dynamic. I had this conversation with UFC and it's like, what are they really looking for? And the same thing with the refs and stuff, like in the rules meetings, like it's just interesting how one thing is said and it's like, okay, here's these rules, but then it feels like things are changing when you're in the midst of things. So yeah, I mean, it boiled down to round one and stuff, but I definitely had the most damage. Like I was doing damaging strikes in that fight. I had cage control the entire time. There was a lot of things going on. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean the judging in MMA, especially now, is just so weird because I think 7 out of 14 of the last decisions have been split decisions. So I mean that's pretty crazy when you think about it, right?
It is, and it's even, the night of my fight with Jose Aldo. Like I don't even understand his fight. It's just that's what I'm talking about. It's just crazy because, that one person, they make a decision and it's like you have the best seat in the house. Like what are you looking at when the entire world can see completely different than what you see? And so yeah, I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know like how they need to change. I mean, we've talked a lot about as far as like open scoring and different things so that way it's just right there in front of you and you can see. But yeah, I have no clue. I just know being on the flip side of things and with the way outcomes happen, it's extremely frustrating.
Hmm. And with Pena, she kind of snubbed you and Harrison by calling out Amanda Nunes, retired. I guess what was your kind of reaction to her going after Nunes instead of the next number one contender, Kayla Harrison?
She cracks me up. A lot of people, it was interesting. I watched the hype videos going into this fight, and it was very interesting to me how she played me out to be like this bully. And of course, they take clips where we were trying to get along, where we were roommates, where we were teammates. But they don't show the rest of the things that happened. And so, like, I mean, I felt bad for her going into the house, and we ended up on the same team. We were roommates. I tried to take her like under my wing and befriend her, and I quickly learned our personalities are extremely different, and that was made very, very clear. But Juliana just she has a very unique personality to her, to say the least. And the fact that she does all this, she yaps and yaps and yaps, and it's just like she talks crap to Kayla, she says all the things, but then the minute that she has the opportunity, it's like, okay, Kayla's there, you want to go chase a ghost? Like, Amanda's retired, and I mean, I know she's making little gestures on social media and stuff, but like as of currently, like she's not coming back. So the fact that you want to run your mouth and then you're not actively looking at your competition that's in the division is it's incredible to me. Like it just shows more of her personality, to say the least. So it's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch too that like she's just like, oh, like I want to be a representation, or I'm a great representation of women's MMA. Like all she does is run her mouth and does the weirdest things. Like, I don't know. She's somebody I think that will just kind of always, with just her personality, get under my skin with just the way she acts. Like, all right, you got the world title given to you. Now turn around and fight somebody who's actively in the division. Like, quit detouring or just quit running your mouth.
Hmm. With Kayla Harrison, I feel like that's might be the next fight to make, but I feel like there's definitely a case for you to have that immediate rematch. I guess
Correct.
with Kayla Harrison, with her weight cuts, she's cut down to 136 twice in like 6 months. I think she would probably need some more time to get down to championship weight. So does that kind of leave the door open for you to take the title shot against Pena?
First and foremost, I definitely feel like I deserve the rematch. It's something that does happen. Like this wasn't just another fight. Like it's for a world title. And at the same time, it's like, especially when it comes to a championship fight, a lot of the time they say like you have to beat the champ to be the champ. And I don't feel like she beat me. Um, and so I want the rematch. When it comes to Kayla, like, she did an interview and she spoke out publicly about, and a lot of people don't realize the effects that weight cuts take on the body. It's a lot, and I mean, Kayla has a physique that, I mean, she's a walking anatomy chart. So to really try to pull weight and water weight and everything off of that, that takes a lot of work. Like I'm not like this walking anatomy chart or whatnot, but like, even for me, people get fooled by my Mexi roll. That's what I call it. It's my reserved energy. But they get fooled by it and they're just like, you should be at 125. I have a really, really, really hard time making 135. And so, and when it comes to it, like that 1 pound, you get the allowance of 136, and that 1 pound makes a very, very big difference. So I'm sure that's definitely taken a toll on her, especially when she's not used to competing at 135. And I appreciate I have respect for her. I appreciate the interview that she did after the fight and stuff. And just kind of talking about it. But yeah, I think just in general for her own health, I mean, at the end of the day, we're human beings and we need to be healthy. So I definitely think she's going to need that time off to kind of recover and let her body heal from that, especially if she was having issues the week prior to the fight.
Hmm. Pena, I feel like she would want to make up for lost time, considering that she hasn't fought that much because of injuries.
I don't think
How
so.
early,
I like, not to cut you off, but I don't think so. She has a way of just like, I don't even know. You go back and you look at like her career in the UFC and it's just breaks between fights. Like it's multiple breaks and a lot of it's due to injury and stuff, but I mean, yeah, I don't think she's going to be in a hurry to get back out there at all.
mhm. So I guess, going back to you, when would you like to return? Like if the UFC, you are talking with them currently, if something does happen later down the line, when would you like to return against her?
I'm healthy. I walked out of the fight healthy. I mean, the only thing I got an x-ray on my right hand. One of my knuckles is busted. And so just waiting for the results on that. But other than that, I'm completely healthy. And I mean, just a couple weeks off just to decompress from the intensity of a fight camp, let my body relax a little bit, let my mind relax, recharge, and then I'm ready to get back out there.
Awesome. Just two more questions for you, Rocky. She said that in an interview with MMA on SiriusXM that she would beat you 10 out of 10 times, even though you had the more decisive moments over her, dropping her in the fourth round. The first round, you countered her pretty good. Fifth round, I feel like you won that as well. I guess how do you approach a rematch and how do you make it more decisive than the first time?
Juliana makes me laugh. Like the stuff that comes out of her mouth, she's a clown. I'll give her that. Literally a clown. But at the end of the day, I mean, I seen it in her eyes multiple times in there. She's the one that went stumbling across the octagon. She's the one that fell on her ass. So just for me, I mean, there's no like I'm not intimidated by Juliana. I don't have any emotions towards that. Like going into this fight was the calmest I've ever felt. So now, I mean, I'm hungry. I'm upset with things and I'm more motivated than ever. I, I mean, I dropped her on her butt. So, and that wasn't even my full power. You can rewatch that and I barely even rotated my hips. So to go out there, like the next time I'm preparing, you know what I mean? Like my hands are flying. I didn't let my right hand go the way that I should have. And so my right hand's definitely going to be sent multiple times.
Awesome, man. Last question I had for you is your nickname's Rocky. I have to ask you, what is your favorite Rocky movie? It's my favorite franchise, in my opinion.
I'm the type of person when it comes to movies in general, like I feel like the first movie of any series is always the best. So, I would say Rocky 1 and then just to go off of that, like it's kind of funny because Rocky didn't even come from fighting. It started back in high school when I was playing volleyball. My coach was trying to yell at me and she kept stuttering rock. She would call me Raquel when my name is like R.A. Raquel. And so then everybody kind of just started calling me Rock. And then one day it became Rocky. And then when I started fighting, the sheet said nickname, and I was like, oh, well, everybody just kind of calls me Rocky. So I put Rocky, and everybody's like, oh, it's so fitting. Like, you're a fighter. We see how you came up with your name. And I was like, no, it actually came from just being younger.
Well, I mean, it kind of goes along with your style too, because I mean, you are one of the like probably the best boxer in the women's bantamweight division. But yeah, I love the nickname. I love the movies as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Rocky, well, I'm gonna let you go, but thank you so much for the time today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was great talking to you.